anything worth having is worth waiting for, right? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 painfully long waits for video games.
Buon appetito!
For more gaming videos, check out our new spin-off channel, Mojo Plays, for in-depth reviews, thoughtful video essays, detailed character origins, and insightful commentary. Mojo Plays, games smarter. For this list, we're looking at those games that were in purgatory known as development hell, but somehow managed to crawl out of the pits and make it to release day. The quality of the game doesn't actually matter on this list, and we won't be looking at games that don't have any chance of being released. Sorry, Half-Life 3.
I wish you didn't have to head off so soon. If only it weren't so critical.
Number 10, Doom.
In 1993, a small studio named id Software made a first-person shooter called Doom.
Welcome to Doom 4. Sorry, we mean Doom, just Doom, or maybe Doom 2016. Plans for the next installment of this franchise began in 2007, 3 years after the release of Doom 3. Things seemed to be going fine as the game was announced in 2008, and throughout the years, fans were told that the game was in deep development. Then 2013 happened, where we found out that development had been restarted in 2011 because the game wasn't turning out the way the team wanted, which is probably the nicest way we can put it. Fortunately, a reboot was exactly what this game needed, and in 2016 we killed every monster that crossed our paths with our bare hands, and it was really frickin' sweet. Number 9, StarCraft II, Wings of Liberty.
Get ready.
12 years. 12 years since the release of the original StarCraft in 1998. We suppose we shouldn't complain too much after all, since the game's development was officially announced in 2007. Oh, wait, it actually started in 2003 though, after the release of Frozen Throne for Warcraft 3. Then it was delayed because of World of Warcraft, so yeah, okay, we can understand needing some extra hands for WoW. A few months of assistance isn't too bad, but oh, they couldn't work on StarCraft 2 for an entire year? Well, in 2009, fans got a glimmer of hope as beta signups were open for the game, and even if it was delayed until 2010, the game did actually hit shelves the same year. Although we had to wait another 5 or 6 years to get the Protoss campaign, but who's counting?
Hell, it's about time.
Number 8, Resident Evil 4.
I was to assume the responsibility of protecting the new president's family.
Compared to some other entries on this list, 6 years isn't too long of a wait, but Resident Evil 4 went through so many changes that it actually created an entirely new series, Devil May Cry. Talk of the game began in 1999 after Jill Valentine faced off against the Nemesis. Initially meant to be a PS2 exclusive, development started over after DMC's release, and Resident Evil 4 became a GameCube exclusive in 2002. After another series of revisions in 2003, it was decided that it was time to reinvent the series, which eventually led to one of the best Resident Evils of the franchise, if not the best, so I guess it was worth it. Number 7, Diablo 3.
Powers of hell could already be on the move. The world must be told of the coming darkness.
Hello, Blizzard. We meet again. To be fair, Blizzard went right to work on Diablo 3 shortly after the release of Diablo 2. Since there was about 4 years of development between the first two games, and Diablo's 3 production began in 2001, many players expected to get something around 2005. Instead, Blizzard North, the division of Blizzard that was responsible for Diablo's development, closed. We wouldn't hear anything about Diablo for another 3 years, but it was at least good news when it arrived. Diablo 3 was officially announced, and following the tradition of 4 years of production, it was eventually released in 2012. Number 6, Fallout 3. The third game in this post-apocalyptic franchise would have been a completely different experience had the original team still been around. Developed under the codename Van Buren, Black Isle Studios, the original developers behind the first two games, were set to make the next installment, but the entire team was laid off in 2003 after Interplay Entertainment, who owned Black Isle Studios, went bankrupt. The license was sold to Bethesda, who started work on the game in 2004, and fans would have to wait 4 more years before they were treated to a game that was vastly different from the original. But hey, still good.
You've got a bright future ahead of you, son. I'm sure of it.
Number 5, The Last Guardian. There are certain developers who you're willing to wait for because you want to see the full scope of their vision. Fumito Ueda is one of those developers, usually. Development for his latest work began in 2007, with the game being showcased at E3 2009, with plans of a PS3 release in 2011. Cue several delays due to hardware difficulties, Ueda and members of Team Ico leaving Sony, and a sudden move to the PlayStation 4 with no foreseeable release date. Fortunately, Ueda returned with his new studio, Gen Design, and became a creative consultant for the game. And in 2015, the game returned to E3 with plans of an actual release. Number 4, Aliens Colonial Marines.
You're not understanding me, Conrad. I'm not worried about my own safety.
We don't need to remind you how much of a terrible experience this game was. But hey, here we go. Upon its release, it was littered with bugs, terrible AI, and a complete disregard for the films that inspired it. Enter Sega in 2006, who had purchased the rights to the Alien franchise. And later, they announced a team up with Gearbox to make Colonial Marines. In 2010, we got the intense alien adventure we wanted. Alien vs. Predator. Wait, what? What happened to Colonial Marines? Oh, well, delays, and then outsourcing to other developers. Forget development hell. This was a development nightmare that nobody ever woke from. Number 3, Persona 5. We first got a glimpse of those stylish, heart-taking thieves in 2013. Or rather, we got a glimpse of a row of chairs. Apparently, prep work for this game began in 2008 when Persona 4 was in its final stages. 5 went through various drafts, and it kinda shows in the final product, as the game has a much different look and sound than past releases in the franchise. Set to be a PS3 exclusive in 2014, Japan wouldn't see a release on PS3 and PS4 until 2016, and the US had to wait until April of 2017.
The whole world's waiting to see the Phantom Thieves' next move.
Number 2, Final Fantasy 15. Believe it or not, talk of Final Fantasy 13 started back in 2004 for the PS2. So why are we bringing up 13 if the entry is about 15? Well, in 2006, we were treated to a trailer to a game called Versus 13, which was supposed to be released alongside 13. Cue number 13's release in 2010, and Versus, well, let's just say that Noctis didn't get up from that lavish chair for about a decade. At least he became more than a spin-off, and hey, now that the game is out, maybe we'll finally get Kingdom Hearts 3. Right, Nomura?
それに、この格好!
Number 1, Duke Nukem Forever.
Excuse me, Duke Nukem? Yeah, my kid's a real big fan.
After the release of Duke 3D in 1996, the next installment was announced in 1997. 4 years later, 3D Realms stated that the game would be ready when it was ready. That's never a good sign, right? We finally got a teaser in 2007, 10 years after the game was first announced. And then we just thought we'd soon be able to play the game, but nope, downsizing lawsuits, and in 2010, Gearbox Studios, with their great track record, continued where 3D Realms left off. Yes, the same Gearbox we've mentioned before. Well, we're sure Duke's 3D fared better than Colonial Marines, right? Who played it? Oh.
What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
Yeah, but after 12 fucking years, it should be.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.